Hi, I'm Kanupriya Sharma from GMATQuizMaster and I'm back with another video to help with your GMAT prep. Before we start, I have a very quick question for you. Do you find it difficult to solve quant-based CR questions even though you are comfortable with quant-based questions? Well, even if your answer is yes, you need not worry. There are a lot of students who find it difficult to apply quant skills along with CR reasoning skills. And the most likely reason behind this is that they do not simplify the information that is given to them. They do not draw all the required inferences to understand the information correctly. So let's solve this question together and understand how to do that exactly. The question that we are going to solve is an inference question from OG and it is a hard question. The incorrect answer choices here are very tempting. All the incorrect answer choices seem very logical. So let's get started. Understanding the passage is important for every question type. However, for inference questions, that is the only thing that you need to do. You can get an inference question incorrect only for two reasons. One is you did not understand the passage correctly. Second, you did not understand the answer choice correctly. So, all that you need to do is understand the passage properly. Let's do that and draw all the correct inferences here so that the answer choice analysis becomes easy. Let's get started with passage analysis. A library currently has only coin operated photocopy machines. So, this is the current status of this library. It has only coin operated photocopy machines. That is, you put in a coin and it will operate for you, which cost 10 cents per copy. And this is the cost given to us, cost per copy. For one copy, you have to pay 10 cents. Library administrators are planning to refit most of those machines with card readers. Now, there were only coin operated machines. Now, these administrators are planning to refit most of those machines with card readers. So all machines will not be refitted with card readers, only most of them will be refitted. Okay, so there will some coin operated machines will continue to exist. The library will sell prepaid copy cards that allow users to make 50 copies at 9 cents per copy. All right, now we have the new rate, and let's take a note of this information now so that we can retain it. This is now, this is after the machines have been refitted. Right now, all are coin operated. Afterwards, most will have card readers and some will continue to be coin operated. All right. Right now, the cost is 10 cents per copy. Afterwards, for the ones with card readers, the cost will be 50 copies at 9 cents per copy. And for the coin operated ones, the cost will continue to be 10 cents per copy. Now, a very important thing to note here is that we are talking about prepaid copy cards. When you read this prepaid and you read this 50 copies at 9 cents per copy, it means that when someone is purchasing the card, they will have to pay 50 into 9 is equal to 450 cents. Then only they will get 50 copies at 9 cents per copy, right? So this is a prepaid card. Before they go to take the copy, they have, if they are purchasing the card, they have to pay 450 cents at least to get a copy. All right, let's read further. Administrators believe that despite the convenience of copy cards, so it is considered to be convenient, and their lower per copy cost that we have seen, it has reduced from 10 cents to 9 cents per copy, the number of copies made in the library will be essentially unchanged after the refit. So the administrators believe that if 1,000 copies were being made before, this number will continue to be 1,000 only, even after the machines have been refit, despite this convenience of copy cards and their lower per copy cost. All right, the question stem says, on the assumption that administrator's assessment is correct. So the question is saying that assume this is correct, the number of copies will not change. Which of the following predictions about the effect of the refit is most strongly supported by the information given? So we have to find a possible effect which is most strongly supported. Before we move to the answer choice analysis, let's understand one more thing. Because we are talking about the cost per copy here, let's also understand the revenue. So earlier, the library was selling one copy for 10 cents. And if there were 1,000 copies, the revenue would have been 10 into 1,000 is equal to 10,000 cents. Now, what will be the revenue now? It is very important to note that for people who are getting their copies using the card, using the prepaid card, the purchase is in terms of card, the card that is being purchased or the cards that are being recharged. It is not in terms of copies that they are making, right? So the revenue here will be 450 into number of cards sold plus 10 into number of copies made using coin operated machines, right? This is the revenue that the library is going to generate once these machines are fitted with card readers. Please do not think that the new revenue will be 9 into number of copies generated using machines with card readers plus 10 into number of copies generated using coin operated machines. This is an incorrect understanding because this is a prepaid card. People will pay for the card first. So even if they are making 10 copies, they will have to pay 450 cents. Even if they are 50 copies, they will pay 450 cents. You don't have to judge why would someone pay 10 cents for 450 cents for 10 copies, or is it a wise decision or not? You don't have to judge that. You can only infer that anyone who is purchasing the card, irrespective of how many copies they are taking till 50, they will be paying 450 cents. And additionally, anyone who is using the coin operated machine, they will pay 10 cents per copy for the coin operated machine. So, with this understanding, let's move to error analysis. So, if your understanding of the passage was correct, if it was similar to what we just discussed, if you were able to draw these inferences, if you were able to understand how the number of copies is not changing, how the revenue can change, if you understood all those, then mark a tick here. If your understanding was not correct, or if you misunderstood anything, or if you missed understanding any of this information, if you missed reading and interpreting any of this information, mark across here and explain the exact reason why you faltered here. With that, let's move to understand what the correct answer choice should convey here. All right. So this is the easiest part for an inference question, understanding what the correct answer choice should convey. So the correct answer choice will convey something that is definitely true if the information given in the passage is true. So here we have to find an answer choice which will convey a piece of information which will definitely be true once the refit has been done, assuming that the administrator's assessment regarding the number of copies is correct. Let's proceed to answer choice analysis now. Choice A. Library patrons will only purchase a copy card on days when they need to make 50 or more copies. Now, how do you know that? Yes, it may be a logical thing to do if you consider cost analysis. However, can you be sure of that? Just for example, consider a scenario in which there are some coin operated machines with long queues, and most of the card reader machines that are fitted with card reader, they are free. People are not using them, and someone is in hurry. They come and see that all coin operated machines have long queues. They will have to wait for a long time. So they will quickly maybe purchase the card and get their copies, even if they want one copy or 10 copies of 20 copies, anything less than 50 copies. So, this is something that is not definitely true. And an inference has to be definitely true as long as the information given in the passage is true. If you selected this answer choice, you made an assumption regarding the logical cost analysis. However, keep in mind that the correct answer choice will never be based on any assumption. If the passage presents that logic to you that people will do that logical analysis, then only you have to consider it, not otherwise. Please update your bridge table accordingly. Let's move to choice B now. Choice B. No library patrons will increase their usage of the library's photocopy machines once the refit has been made. Now, again, why would that happen? Let's understand with an example. So, we know that the number of copies has not increased. Let's say it was 1000 earlier and it continues to be 1000 now. Let's consider the scenario that earlier 100 people were taking 10 copies each, and that is why there were 1000 copies. Now, this answer choice is saying that there's no library patron who will increase their usage of the library's photocopy machine once this refit has been done. But why? Just to keep this number constant? The answer is no, the number can stay constant even if some people increase or reduce their usage. For example, out of these 100 people, 98 can continue with 10 copies each. One can increase the number of copies to 15, and one can reduce the number of copies to 5. So again, the total number of copies will stay the same here. So this will be 980 copies, this will be 15 copies, and this will be 5 copies, and that gives you a total of 1000. So if you selected this answer choice, and this is a very popular answer choice, you assumed that in order to keep this number constant, these two factors will have to stay constant. You did not understand that these two factors can vary in some proportion so that this total still remains the same. So please update your bridge table accordingly. Let's move to choice C now. Choice C. If most of the copy cards sold in the library are used to their full capacity, so we are talking about most of the copy cards and they are used to their full capacity. Full capacity means each card is used for 50 copies. The number of people using the library's photocopy machines over a given period will fall. Let's understand it with the same example again. Let's say 1000 copies were being made earlier, and we have to assume that still 1000 copies are being made. Now, earlier, let's say there were 100 people and they were taking 10 copies each, and this gave 1000. Now, let's say that 10 people out of these 100 have taken the cards. And because we are assuming that they are using the card to their full capacity, it means that they are accounting for 500 copies out of these 1000 copies. Now, the question is that can the remaining 90 people not take 500 copies in all? Do we necessarily have to reduce this number to meet this requirement of getting 500 more copies? The answer is no. These 90 people can very well, can very easily, very logically in every scenario take 500 copies. So the total number of copies will not change even if some of these people are using the cards to their full capacity. So if you understand, choice B and choice C have the same trap. In order to keep this number constant, you have to understand that it is dependent on these two factors, the number of people and the number of copies that they are taking. And you have to understand how you can vary one and two so that 1000 does not change. Both choices B and C are testing you on the same aspect. Let's move to choice D now. Let's start with choice D, which is the most popular incorrect answer choice. Revenues from photocopying will decrease unless most library patrons choose to use the remaining coin operated machines in preference to the card reader equipped ones. So we are comparing the revenue now, which is just from coin operated machines, that is 10 cents per copy, and later, after this refit has been done, in which case the revenue will be number of cards into 450 plus number of copies made using coin operated machines into 10. So this choice is saying that this revenue will reduce here. From year to year, it will reduce unless most library patrons choose to use the remaining coin operated machines in preference to card reader equipped ones. So let's see what will happen if that is not true. Let's see if this inference is definitely true by evaluating the scenario in which it is not. That is, in which most of the library patrons are using the card readers. So let's take an example. Let's say 100 copies were being made earlier at 10 cents each. So the revenue was 1000 cents. Now, let's say out of these 100 copies, because the number of copies is constant, so out of these 100 copies, 90 are being used, 90 are being made using the card reader machines, that is using the card, and 10 are being made using the coin operated machine, which means that these 10 are resulting in a revenue of 100 cents. Now, what is the revenue for these 90 copies? You know that one card can give at max 50 copies. So for 90 copies, you would need at least two cards, which means 2 into 450 cents. That is 900 cents. So in this example, we can see that the revenue is constant even though most of the library patrons are not preferring the coin operated machine. Similarly, this 90 could be this was the first case in which these 90 copies were coming from two cards. This could be coming from three cards, in which the revenue will increase to 3 into 450 plus 100. If it is coming from four cards, because any number of people can buy that card, right? And they may not utilize it fully. The choice does not say that the cards are being utilized fully. The passage does not say that cards are being utilized fully. People may use it for 20 copies, people may use it for 30 copies, people may use it for 40 copies, or any number of copies, even less than 50. So that is not a restriction here, and that is why this revenue can it can increase further with the number of cards. Now, if you selected this answer choice, the most probable mistake that you made was that you considered the revenue to be number of copies into 9 cents. This is for card reader machine plus number of copies made using the coin operated machine into 10. So most likely you thought that this is how the revenue will be calculated, and that is where you faltered. So you have to understand the prepaid nature of the card. You did not make a proper inference when you read these two things. One is 50 copies at 9 cents per copy, and the other is the prepaid copy card. I hope it is clear why choice D is incorrect, and you understand why you selected this, why you fell in this trap of choice D. So please update your bridge table accordingly, and let's move to the correct answer choice, which is choice E. Choice E is the correct answer here, and it seems very difficult to understand. Students are not able to understand it correctly. They think that there's a lot of math involved. What does it mean? How does it impact? It may be irrelevant, and they reject this answer choice. So let's read it and simplify it and understand how we can interpret such choices. Revenues from photocopying will increase. So again, we are comparing the revenue now and the revenue after refit, it will increase. This is the condition that is given, in which case the revenue will increase, and we have to validate this condition. If copy cards that are purchased are on average used to significantly less than 90% of their capacity. Now, this is a very complex thing to understand for a lot of us, even for me. So, let me just think about it, what it is saying. It is saying that revenues from photocopying will increase. So, when will the revenue from photocopying increase? One is the number of copies increases, which is not the case. We know that the number of copies is constant. Number of copies is constant. So, if the rate per copy increase, then the revenue will increase, right? So all I am left to do here is check whether in this situation the rate per copy will increase. Let's check that. So earlier the rate per copy was 10 cents, right? No other condition. It was flat 10 cents per copy. Now with the card readers, we are providing 50 copies at 9 cents per copy. Yes, there are some coin operated machines that continue to provide the copies at 10 cents per copy. But let's consider the extreme scenario in which all the machines that are working are the card reader ones and everyone is using them, because that will be the scenario in which the revenue can reduce because of this rate per copy. Right. So, right now, the rate seems to be 9 cents per copy. However, this is only if people are actually taking 50 copies, right? If here it is given 90%, if they are using this card at 90% capacity, it means that they are taking 45 copies. They are taking 45 copies for 450 cents, which turns out to be 10 cents per copy. So, as long as people are utilizing the card to 90% of its capacity, if they are utilizing it exactly 90% to its capacity, they are paying 10 cents per copy, in which case the revenue should remain the same. If they reduce this capacity, if they are utilizing the card below 90%, what does that mean? It means that they will be uh, taking, let's say, 40 copies or 30 copies or 20 copies and paying 450, in which the rate per copy will go up. In this scenario, the rate per copy will be more than 10 cents per copy. And this is the scenario that we are discussing. If people are utilizing on an average, they are utilizing the card to significantly less than 90% of their capacity. That is, if these cards on an average are being used to get 40 copies or 30 copies or 20 copies, significantly less than 45 copies per card, then the rate per copy will be much more than 10 cents per copy, in which case the revenue will go up. And that is why choice E is the correct answer. It correctly describes an effect of refit. It correctly describes a situation that is very much likely once the refit has been done. So, if you rejected this answer choice, I already mentioned some of the reasons why you could have rejected it. You need to evaluate it. The way I explained it, because it was difficult for me also. So, the way I interpreted it, when will the revenue increase? What is the impact of rate per copy? What was the rate per copy here? How will the rate per copy change in this situation? And accordingly, I was able to interpret this choice. So, why were you not able to do that? That is something that you need to understand and learn so that you can do that in any other question. Hope that helps. Good luck.